Week 2.
Oh boy.
I think the only bright part about tonight, Sam, is we get to play the worst team on paper in the NFL this week.
I agree on paper, worst team, but I got to give Josh Dobbs a lot of credit. I mean, Kyler's been Kyle. First of all, Kyler Murray has lost all of my respect. To be honest with you, I don't even. I did like him in the beginning, but I'm really like he's just so annoying now. But Josh Dobbs,
Mm.
like, did what he needed to do for the Cardinals. You know, he's not the best quarterback ever, but he did what he needed to do. And I talked about this on Unsolicited with Jordan. I should not be scared to be going into the guaranteed win game that we had over the offseason being nervous about whether or not we're going to win this game. Because I am.
Oh, so you're that nervous we might not win.
Yeah.
I don't blame you one bit. I don't.
I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Like just if there were just a shred of anything good that happened on Sunday, like that first 30 seconds of the game, I'd be like, okay. I mean, so maybe, but at this point, right now, I hate to doubt them, but I until I actually see it, I can't.
They
I
have to
can't be
earn
confident.
basically earn Sam's respect back.
Basically.
Right now, it seems like they don't have it, no. So they don't have much for me either. Um, but I will say, Giants are favored by 4 on the road. Last meeting, 2020, folks, everybody remembers the game where Patrick Graham broke Seattle. Giants were in first place riding high with the Joe Judge led team. And you know what? We're just spewing stuff on the show last night,
Yeah.
or tonight, I should say. Joe Judge would have never left Daniel Jones in there to dry that late. Just saying. People are putting hot takes this week out and throwing clickbait out there. That's my clickbait. What Brian Dable did on Sunday, Joe Judge would have never done that.
I mean, but it's true. Why was
Dable's
he
the
still in the game?
superior coach, obviously, but
Why was he still in the game though?
I don't know. He wanted a spark, but in shitty weather, a left tackle who's dealing with a hamstring injury. He's getting drilled every play. It's one thing if you're down 40-0 and you're not getting hit every play and you want to get more reps in there. That's fine. I'm not going to bash him for it, but I disagree with him for it.
Yeah.
If Jones got hurt, it would have looked a lot worse. He's lucky he didn't. He's very lucky he came out of that game with a clean bill of health. He's very fortunate.
With the rain and the turf or the artificial grass, whatever, which we didn't even talk about really,
No.
um, was the state of the field and how it's just set ablaze the internet. But actually, I was just remembering the last time I remember when we played Seattle 3 years ago and we won. And I remember that week on my podcast, I had Chris Guzzo, the entertainer, on, and we were both like, we're gonna beat the Cardinals. Like we're riding a high right now. We're gonna beat the Cardinals. And then we went into that game and it was just awful. Just horrible.
Yep, that was the Arizona game. Cardinals have won 4 straight meetings against the Giants, dating back to 2011. That's when the Giants last beat the Cardinals 31-27. Little Victor Cruz game for you there, number 80. That's who I'm donning tonight. Giants lead the all-time series. It's crazy. A lot of people forget this, Sam. Before the divisional realignment in 2002, folks, the Cardinals were in the NFC East.
Oh my god, that's right.
So the Giants have a lot of games against this team. They're 80-46-2 all time against the Cardinals. Will Hernandez revenge game for Arizona. Isaiah Simmons revenge game for New York. Obviously, the Giants got Isaiah Simmons. And I'll say this. You were mentioning about Josh Dobbs before, Sam. He didn't look too bad last week, but he's having a lot of similar issues that we are. He lost 2 fumbles. His offensive line is not good at all. And he got sacked 3 times. But what they did do well is run the football. James Conner looked good, averaged 4.5 yards a carry. and they only lost by 4. They only lost by 4. So it's
Better
definitely
than us.
it, that is better than us. He kept Jones in the game because he was embarrassed, and rightfully so. He and his staff didn't have this team prepared. Embarrassed as a coach to go from DJ to Tyrod Taylor. Again, this is another good point. This is another good point. I somewhat agree with you here on this, Robert. I do see Brian Dable's argument for keeping him in the game. I do. My argument against Brian Dable is he's getting hit every single freaking play, and I don't want to lose him for the rest of the season. I'm not going out there and saying, "Oh my God, Dable, put him on the hot seat." No, that's delusional. That's delusional. I would be shocked, like utterly shocked, if Dable's not coaching this team in 2024. He will be. I'll say
Oh
that.
yeah, there's no way that
Okay.
they.
There's absolutely no way Joe Shane does anything there with that. It was one game. It's such an overreaction with New
It
York
is.
fans.
It is. But that's like because we only have that one game, so we're like gonna be like, wow. And I think what it was too was if this happened during like the 1 o'clock slate, it would be still bad. But like everybody was watching this game. Like
Yep.
during the 1 o'clock slate, there are obviously people who aren't watching. They're watching other games or they're watching Red Zone, so they're not catching every play. So the fact that it was on national television on Sunday Night Football, the first Sunday night game of the year, that's where the embarrassment lies. Is that it was like everybody saw it, and that's what makes me, I think, as angry as I am.
I'm with you. Everyone saw it. That's what really sucks. But this is an Isaiah Simmons revenge game. Sam, before we get into our keys of the game, any little fun facts or any general thoughts you want to add before we really dissect the Giants' path to victory on Sunday, or how they
Um,
can get there?
I think we're just ready to hop in and see where we're at with the Cardinals because at this point, now that we're done talking about week one, I don't want to talk about week one at
No,
all. But I think
no.
Isaiah Simmons will probably have a little bit of fun at this game, but I can't imagine it being like this crazy revenge game.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. Uh, so I guess I'm just very passionate about this key, so I'm just going to reveal this right off the bat.
Mhm.
Um, Protect Daniel Jones, please. Just protect Daniel Jones, okay? The Giants O line, 7 sacks, worst offensive line performance, folks, since I started watching this team in late 2002, okay? And I saw Trey Junkin with a bad snap, okay? I saw all that happen. I saw the terrible protection that Kerry Collins got up front. It was not as bad as what we saw on full display Sunday night. It was horrible. It was horrible. Um, we might have a new starting left tackle this week. And now Andrew Thomas did practice on a limited basis today, but I don't expect him to play Sunday. Josh Zudu, 275 snaps at left tackle in his final year at UNC. Also played 124 snaps at right tackle in 2020. Again, Cardinals defense had 6 sacks last week, so I am very concerned about that. Sam Howell was pressured on 53% of his pass attempts. Robert's going to say, they can't row, they suck. Well, you're right. You're right. But it's my job to provide people hope at the same time being transparent with you. And right
Yeah.
now they suck. But they might not get exposed as much this week. So,
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
yeah. What is your first key to the game against
Um,
Arizona?
Against Arizona, just the fact that, like I said, it's not the Cowboys defense, it's the Cardinals defense. So this is not going to be, I'd like to think, as bad. But, if we can nickel and dime down the field, if we can get, a 7-yard pass, a 4-yard run, just make your way down in terms of that. I have a feeling we get on the board a lot more than what we think we will be. Work with this team, work with the weaknesses of this defense to get points on the board, because if we just keep getting down the field and kicking field goals, well, that'll be great for my fantasy team because I have Graham Gano. Um, it's not going to be good for the Giants as a whole. I would just genuinely just find the weaknesses, work with it, get down the field, score points, because that's the defense could be amazing this entire game. Like, and I have a feeling it will be like we're going to see a great defense this weekend. Um, but offensively, that's the struggle. But that's where we need them the most because they have to score the points.
Yep.
So I would say just don't go crazy, Daniel Jones. Don't get in your head. Don't feel like you need to make these amazing plays. Don't run 87 yards unless you can. Um, just do what you got to do. Like just get down the field and score points. Like don't make it a show. Just win a game, please. For my mental state, I would appreciate it very much.
In other words, key to the game: win.
Yeah.
Be Giants.
But mostly like, don't be crazy. Like we don't need these big
Yeah.
giant things to happen. Like we just need just your little plays here and there. Get Saquon. He can run as much as he possibly can.
Giants fan since 1956. Wow. Yeah, it's a very long time, Robert. Yeah, I mean, seeing it through and through, Bobby Johnson's got to go. If I'm Dable, I talked to Shane about firing him um, before we get into more divisional games because this is bad. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd let him go right now. Just win and get out of the game healthy and safe. Saquon will also have a good game if we get him going early. They're going to run the ball 40 times
Yeah,
on Sunday. They're going to run the ball 40 times and play good defense.
yeah. That's it. That's it.
Barkley, no Andrew Thomas. They're not capable of getting the ball down the field, and they have to win the turnover battle too. That's another thing. They have to win the turnover battle. I think Hodgins had a fumble last week, so going up against the Cardinals defense, guys like Dennis Gardeck, Zaven Collins, um, Buda Baker too. Buda Baker is probably the best player on that team. Um,
Yeah, he is.
yeah, he's very good. Plays next to another safety in Kevon Wallace, who we know very well, former Philadelphia Eagle. Um, I expect to see Isaiah Simmons exploited a lot more, though. Try to pressure Josh Dobbs. I think another thing too, Sim. I want to see what Wink can do with Kayvon and Simmons on the field at the same time. I don't think we saw enough of that last week. I know Aziz a little banged up right now, so if you can get the three of them on the field together at the same time, I would love to see that personally.
I feel like that would mean some pretty serious business,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like and again, I'm not going into this game anticipating like a blowout win, but like we could kind of work with it a little bit in this game with with the Cardinals being the team that they are. Um, I would love to see that, honestly. I want more Isaiah Simmons. I want to see more of Isaiah Simmons because I feel like his potential has not been unlocked yet.
I agree. I do agree. I would like to see more of Isaiah Simmons, and I think he's one of my players to watch on Sunday. He knows this offense through and through, going up against it in practice. Can get creative in some blitz packages. He can step back into coverage. He can help out the linebackers, Dexter Lawrence as well. I really think he's going to be an X factor, Sam, as far as getting to the quarterback in Josh Dobbs, who he's not super mobile compared to
Yeah.
their previous quarterback, Kyler Murray. So I'm intrigued to see what happens as far as that goes. So I think that should be fairly interesting. And will Deontay Banks play 100%? That's another question too. I got my eyes on him going up against Hollywood Brown, Rondale Moore. The Cardinals don't have DoorDash wide receivers. They have respectable, legitimate wide receivers on their roster.
Mhm. Yep.
You know, and
But
Ertz too. We can't cover Zach Ertz.
well, yeah, he's a tight end. They They haven't figured that out yet. But Zach Ertz really
Um,
didn't look like I didn't see a lot from Zach Ertz either, on the Cardinal side. Um, but my Giants player to watch, I would say, is Saquon because, like we said, they're going to be running the ball like nobody's business on Sunday. And then I also want to keep my eye on Evan Neal and just see if we're going to go into this game and if there's no any sort of light that he has done any better since last year, and my concerns are going to start to set in even more than they already are because I want to see him develop. I want to see his ability to be a right tackle get better. And if we're not seeing that against the Cardinals, then I have a feeling it's not going to be a lot this season. And I don't want to wait till next season or next off season. That's so far away. So we'll see what happens.
Changes have to be made, um, for sure. We have an argument going on in the comments section, but more of a discussion. But I do agree with you, Robert. You got to face the problem and you got to deal with it. Um, I mean, beating a dead horse is one thing, but again, it's just they played bad. Whoever this Fuquay Steve guy is, they played bad. Like I'm sorry you feel this way, but they played bad. Like, do you not expect us to call that out? Uh, We can't be, 100% biased here. We have to be real. There's a real chance they could lose to Arizona this week, and everyone's on notice, even the coaches, even the premier skill position players. There's a real chance they lose this game. I don't think they do, but there is a chance. There's a chance every week, but the reason why I think there's a real good chance, folks, for the Giants to bounce back, Sam, and I think what I'm going to talk about here is Daniel Jones coming off a loss. He is great. A 7-1-1 record, 69.8% completion percentage. He throws the ball well, turnover free, and I want to go over this. 9 touchdowns to no picks coming off a loss in his last 9 games. Over a
Wow.
100 rating and 4 touchdowns. So if you do the math, that's 13 total touchdowns and no turnovers. That includes no fumbles lost, by the way. So I got my eyes on him.
Yeah. I didn't realize that stat was as strong as it was. And I've been I've been talking about how much I don't think the Giants are going to win next week, but it's a pretty strong stat.
Yeah,
And
it is a strong
I,
stat.
as someone who really thinks Daniel Jones can be that guy, if Daniel Jones is our savior this weekend, I'd be okay with that.
And Saquon has to run the ball all over. 1,300 yards last year. How's he going to perform? Some contract disputes in the offseason. Was solid last week when he was used. He couldn't be used much because we were down by so much. That's what sucks about losing this bad. They couldn't use Waller much. Barkley, Jones was all over. He couldn't display, his skills and his playbook in the offense. They couldn't operate. They didn't have time to make plays.
Yeah.
But Sam, who for the Cardinals do you think could cause the Giants some problems? Because I think I might know. I'm not going to assume, but I think this is me trying to talk you out of some things for our last segment of the show, but it's okay if I don't. Who do you have your eye on Arizona saying, yeah, the Giants are going to have a lot of issues with him?
I feel like their strongest player, like we mentioned before, right now I feel like falls on James Conner. Like I feel like their run is something that was really carrying them last week. Um Josh Dobbs as well, like I said, played as good as he could have as a backup quarterback. Um, but James Conner is he's someone that we should be familiar with at this point too. So preparing for that should be, you would think, like pretty textbook. But also at the end of the day, who knows? that far run defense just kind of falls apart because we've had struggles with that in the past.
Yeah. It looked better on Sunday night, though. Like,
Yeah.
I know Pollard had a few breakthroughs, but when the starters were in there, it looked good. Zaven Collins, another guy that scares me too.
Oh, yeah.
Transitioning to edge. Remember when he got drafted? Yeah, I thought he got drafted early, like early. And they have a
Funny
couple.
enough,
What's
Jordan
up?
and I were really high on Zaven Collins.
Mm.
And when he got drafted when he did, we thought it was very like we thought that he would like that's where he belonged because a lot of people weren't as high up on him. But yeah, he's scary, incredibly scary. And I would be concerned about that.
And if Andrew Thomas doesn't play, he'll be going against Josh Azudu. So I'm
Not
not
ideal.
very confident in
Mm-mm.
that. I got my eye on the entire Giants offensive line. I just mentioned Josh Azudu. Will Glowinski hold on to his starting job, which is probably in jeopardy right now. Not probably, definitely. Evan Neal, as you mentioned.
Yep.
I want to see what Micah McFadden can do as well because I thought he was one of the few Giants that actually played well. On Sunday night, yeah, he missed a play here and there, but everybody had their moments. He's a really good tackling technician. We've always known that. 79.9 tackle grade according to PFF. And, for those who might not like the numbers and want to see more of film, go back and watch the highlights if you can. I mean, they show a couple of his plays in there, and he made some really nice coverage plays against Dallas. He didn't get too many opportunities, but he also had a couple of good tackles, one in the backfield. So I'm still very high on him. I was never big on the Darian Beavers hype train, only because coming off the injury, I didn't think he would start. And right now, he's on the practice squad still. So maybe he's a guy that could elevate at some point. I hope he does. We still have him, thankfully, but we'll have to see. Anybody else? I think we covered all the bases, honestly. Cardinals don't have many good players on their team.
Yeah. I would think so.
They do have Kaiser White. Yeah, their offensive line is not good. So next up, let's talk about the injury report. Obviously, the Cardinals have James Conner dealing with a calf issue. We don't know if Wan'Dale's going to play this week. I would like to see him play. I know he's limited.
Huh.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
It would be.
I would like to see that.
Yeah. We really need him. And we really need Andrew Thomas. We need Andrew Thomas more than anybody. I'll be straight. But if he doesn't play, we got to figure it out. And Matt Hurt's hurt too. So that sucks. Not that he's good, but that was depth. If we have any depth on this roster, he was it.
Mm-hmm.
Not coming out. Cordell Flott hurt. Deontay Banks, calf issue. He should play. I wrote him twice for some reason. Graham Gano's hurt. I really hope special teams plays better. Not him. I know he'll play better, but I'm talking about guys like Casey Kreider had a couple bad snaps. Jamie Gillen always booms punts. He never tries to down them. He did play well on Sunday. He had some booming punts. Remember we were pinned deep in our own territory, Sam, and Gillen just like punting them back to like the Dallas 30, punting them like 60-plus yards. I thought that was very impressive.
Mm-hmm. He's gotten better.
Player of the week. He has.
He was a pain in our side last year for a while.
Yes, he was. We did not like it, or I didn't like him at the beginning. And now he's growing on me a little bit. I still don't think he's a great NFL punter, but he's not one of the worst. And now it's about that time to get into our game predictions. Before we get there, I just want to reveal this. Darren Waller announced he will play, folks. If you're just joining us, he's going to play. Andrew Thomas is in doubt, though. Don't expect him out there. So there's that. Game predictions. I'm nervous to ask you. I won't be offended if you pick Arizona. I won't. Who do you
Think
got?
again, I haven't seen what I've wanted to see yet. And I'd like to think too that not picking the Giants will make things better. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I don't jinx it cuz I literally, I mean, if you guys watched last week, I literally was just like, this is a winnable game. Like, no problem. Like, I was not worried about it. Even if we did lose, I was anticipating a very good game. And it just didn't happen. And I feel like they need to prove to me that they're going to play the way I think they're going to play, or at least better. Anything could be better than Sunday. That's the thing. Anything's better than Sunday. So I'm going to go Arizona, but only because I need to see them actually performing well and actually putting their heart into the game too. I mean, I was seeing just defeat, just immediate defeat with before the second quarter even started. So I'm gonna go Arizona. I'm gonna go something very low, probably like 13-10. I don't think it's gonna be a big blowout of a game. Um, so unfortunately, don't come at me for not picking the Giants, but I'm just that's how I'm feeling right now.
Fair. It's very fair. I hate to say that, but it's very fair. Um, yeah, I could see it being a 13-10 type of game. Giants and Cardinals run the ball a lot. They don't try to expose the porous offensive line as much. Cardinals want to protect Josh Dobbs. Um, yeah, I really don't think this is going to be a great game. This is going to be one of the lesser games of the week, although we've seen miraculous things happen in the past.
True.
I have the Giants winning. Final
Okay.
score 17-13. I think the Giants only give up one touchdown. Their defense, solid for the most part against Dallas. They had their bad moments, but I expect them to improve, get better. I think Kayvon Thibodeau is going to have a better game. I think the Giants are going to win, but only by 4 points. I don't. A lot of people think the Giants are going to win by multiple possessions. Um, I I don't know if they're equipped for that without Andrew Thomas. I'm going into this with the assumption that Andrew Thomas is not playing. I think if Andrew Thomas plays, the Giants could score above 20 points on this Arizona team. But right now, he's not going to play. I hate to say it. He's done. Like he's out this week, and he's probably out on Thursday Night Football against San Francisco. I mean,
Mhm.
I my opinion, best case scenario, you have him back week 4. And I think that's when he will return. It's not a long-term issue. So I think he'll be back week 4. Giants 17-13. Daniel Jones throws one touchdown pass. Barkley gets a rushing touchdown. And Gano hits a field goal. 17-13.
I hope you're
That's our
right.
predictions, folks. Yeah, we have a split down the middle this week. Um, yeah, it's definitely been great talking with you all tonight, getting some of the juice out. I just I want to rip them some more, but I know we're past that at this point. It was so bad.
It's time to just
Um,
look forward to Arizona.
yeah, absolutely. Time to move on. Arizona Cardinals on deck, folks. Hope you enjoy some Thursday night football coming up here shortly.
Yep.
Sam, any final additional thoughts? I know you're pretty much checked out with this Giants team right now. So,
Listen, my mood and my feelings toward them can easily be shifted. I just need to see just good football, even if they lose on Sunday. I just want to see the good football that we have been working for all off season, because we have worked very hard and we have drafted well and we have done free agency well. And I just want to see it pan out for once. I want to see us reap the benefits of our good choices. So that's what I'm looking for.
absolutely, folks. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. I really appreciate it. And I would like to remind everybody that next week we will likely be sticking with Wednesdays for a while now due to scheduling. We can't guarantee that every single week, but it's most likely going to be on Wednesdays. On behalf of Sam Cardona, I'm Tom Scavetta. Check us out on all of our social media. Appreciate you all tuning in. And without further ado, let's go Big Blue.